Hello students, this is the next video of mine. So in this video I am going to give you full detail related to IAS exam conducted by UPSC. Like what is ESC means Engineering Services Exam, what is the eligibility, that is who can write this exam, what is the pattern of this exam and the syllabus regarding this. So let's start this video. ESC or IES means Engineering Services Examination. Let's talk about the introduction. So Indian Engineering Services is the most sought after career for the engineering graduates in India. Engineering Services examination commonly known as ESC is conducted annually by UPSC to recruit engineers in four domains, for example, civil, mechanical, electrical and electronics and telecommunications for the techno managerial post. This examination constitutes a two-stage written examination followed by an interview. ESC is considered as one of the toughest examinations in India due to fewer posts and high competition. Owing to highly competitive selection procedure, IAS officers carry high respect and status and are mandated to manage and execute activities in diverse technical and managerial fields. So these candidates after the final selection are posted in various ministries and departments of Government of India such as Railways, Telecom, Roads, CPWD, CWC, CTS, NHAI, Naval Armaments, IDSC, MES, Ordnance Factories, etc. However, they can move to any cadre, organization, agency or department or ministry or PSU of the Government of India. So all these final selected students are designated as class 1 officer. So this was the basic introduction related to ESC or Engineering Services Examination. Now next is the eligibility, means what is the eligibility criteria to write this exam, means who are eligible to write this exam or the students who can write this exam. So first eligibility of criteria is your nationality, means a student must be either a citizen of India or a subject of Nepal or a subject of Bhutan or a Tibetan refugee who came over to India before the 1st January, means 1962, with the intention of permanently settling in India, or a person of Indian origin who has migrated from Pakistan, Burma, Sri Lanka or East African countries of Kenya, Uganda, the United Republic of Tanzania, Gambia, Malawi, Zaire and Ethiopia, or from Vietnam with the intention of permanent settling in India. Means these people who came from other countries but their intention is to permanent settle in India. Also provided that the candidate or students belonging to categories, all these categories which I stated now, shall be a person in whose favor a certificate of eligibility has been issued by the Government of India. Means they should bear a certificate issued by the Government of India. So this is a these candidates or these students whose nationality stated now, they can write this examination. So first was your nationality. Next criteria is your age limits. Age limits means what comes under in age limits. A candidate for this examination or a student for this examination must have attained the age of 21 years, means minimum age requirement is 21 years. Below the 21 years, you can't write this examination. You are not eligible to write this examination. So must have attained the age of 21 years and must not have attained the age of 30 years. Means in between 21 to 30 years, you can write this exam on the means that is he or she must have been born not earlier than 1990 or not later than 1999. I am telling you according to 2020, year 2020. Clear? Also, the upper age limit of the 30 years will be relaxable up to 35 years in the case of government servant of the following categories. If any person is already serving in any government services. So for him or her, there is a relaxation up to 35 years. For example, if a student or a candidate are employed in a department or office under the control of any of the authorities, like Ministry of Railways, Railway Board, or Ministry of Railway, Railway Board, or Central Public Works Department, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Ministry of Communication, Department of Telecommunication, Ministry of Defense Department, or Defense Production, or Ministry of Science and Technology, Department of Science and Technology, Geological Survey of India, Border Road Organization, Indian Navy, Military Engineering Services, Central Electricity Authority, Ministry of Skill and Development. So if a candidate is already engaged in these services, and those services should be a Group A services, then for them there is a relaxation age up to 35 years. This is also criteria. Next, if a student who holds substantially a permanent post in these particular departments or office concerned, this relaxation will not be admissible to a professional appointed against a permanent post in the department office during the period of his probation. So this relaxation will be admissible to a professional so appointed, provided he or she already retains a lien on a permanent post. Means their post should be a permanent post, that should not be a probationary post or a contract post. Clear? So this was your age limit criteria, and next is your also the in age limit criteria. There is a upper age limit prescribed, whatever prescribed means 30 years. That there is also a further relaxation related to category, means up to a maximum of 5 years if a candidates belong to a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe, up to a maximum of 3 years in the case of candidates belonging to OBC category, up to a maximum of 5 years if a candidate had ordinarily been domiciled in the state of Jammu and Kashmir during the period, whatever period is mentioned, means during 1980, January 1st, January 1980 to 31st day of December 1989. If any kind student is belonging, or if the student has ordinarily being domiciled in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, so he or she can have a relaxation up to 5 years. Also up to a maximum of 3 years in the case of defense service personnel disabled in operation during hostilities with any foreign country or in a disturbed area and released as a consequence thereof, up to a maximum of 5-year relaxation in the case of ex-servicemen, including commission officers and up to a maximum of 5 year in the case of ECOS or SSCOs who have completed an initial period of assignment of 5 years of military services. Also, there is relaxation of maximum 10 years in the case of candidates of PWBD. For example, locomotor disability, including cerebral palsy, leprosy, cured like these, or hard of hearings. So these were the relaxation of the age limits is, uh, which is there. Also, one more relaxation is there up to a maximum of 10 years in the case of students candidates, means already I stated, if it have PWBD category. Clear? Next is your minimum educational qualifications, means this is also one eligibility criteria. First was your nationality, next is your age limits, and third is your minimum educational qualifications. So what are those minimum educational qualifications? First is that student should have obtained a degree in engineering from a university by an act of central or state legislature in India, or he has passed section A and B of the institution examination of the Institution of Engineers, or he had obtained a degree or diploma in engineering from such a foreign university or college or institution, and under such condition as may be recognized by the government for the purpose from time to time, or past graduate membership examination of the Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, or past associate membership examination part 2 and 3 section A and B of Aeronautical Society of India, or a past graduate membership examination of the Institution of Electronics and Radio Engineer, London, held after November 1959. So these were the minimum educational qualification which you should have to write this exam. Means this is the eligibility to write this exam. Next is your exam pattern. So next is the ESC exam pattern. Means what is the exam pattern of that engineering services examination. So engineering services examination has three stages: stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 1 is your preliminary examination or pre-examination, that is for objective papers. Stage 2 is your mains examination, that will be your conventional paper, and stage 3 is your personality testing. So first stage means pre-examination. So in both in preliminary examination there will be two paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 will be your general studies, related to general studies and engineering aptitudes, and the duration of that paper will be your 2 hours duration, and total marks is 200 marks. Means stage 1 pre-examination will be of objective papers. Means paper 1, stage 1, paper 1 and paper 2, both the papers will be in objective type. And in paper 2 of stage 1 will be your engineering discipline. Whatever engineering discipline you have chosen, means civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, or electronics and telecommunication. So this paper 2 will be of 3 hours duration and for 300 marks. So for stage 1, total marks is for 500 marks. So for total 500 marks of this stage 1 is constituted, means this pre-exam. And this pre-exam will be of objective paper. Clear? Next stage is your mains examination. So first you have to write the pre-exam pre-examination and stage 1. If you clear that stage 1, then you have to write the stage 2 mains examination. Mains examination will be of your conventional paper, means written paper. It will not be like a objective type. It will be like a question and answer. You have to write the answers. So if you clear the stage 1, then only there that stage 2 paper will be there. So minimum qualification marks for each paper, here paper 1 and paper 2, will be at the discretion of the commission. Means commission, Union Public Service Commission will decide what will be the minimum qualifying marks for this paper 1 and paper 2 is there. Also, only those candidates qualifying at this stage, means stage 1, are permitted to appear for the stage 2 examination. Stage 2 examination means this mains examination. Only those students or candidates will be given a chance to write this mains examination. So second stage is your mains examination. In second stage also there is two paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 will be your engineering discipline, and both the papers will be of technical only, engineering discipline only. But subjects in these in engineering disciplines, so many subjects are there. So subjects are divided. Here some subjects will be there, here some subjects will be there. So both the papers are for 3-hour duration and 300 marks. So total marks for stage 2 examination will be of 600 marks. Now total marks mains plus prelims will be your 1100 marks. So up to here total marks will be your 1100 marks. So only those candidates or students who are qualifying at this stage means stage 1 pre-exam plus stage 2 mains exam, are selected for the stage 3. Stage 3, that is the personality test or the interview. So those who have qualified both the stage pre-exam and the mains exam, then those students will be given a chance to uh, go for the interview or the personality test. So this is the last stage of your this CSC exam pattern. So stage 3 is your personality test or your interview test. So this is for 200 marks. So total stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3 total marks is for 1300. So only those candidates qualifying at this stage means stage 1 and stage 2, stage 1 and stage 2 written exam plus stage 3 is your interview are included in the final merit list of engineering services examination. Clear? So this was the exam pattern for engineering services examination. Next, let's see about the engineering services examination syllabus. So syllabus is also stage 1 means what paper 1, stage 1 was your pre-examination, that was your objective type. So paper 1 and paper 2, paper 1 was of your general studies or engineering aptitude. So I will discuss all the topics which are coming in the engineering aptitude. Engineering means aptitude or the general studies. So that was for, and this paper is common to all the candidates irrespective of the engineering branch. And this paper is for 2 hours and duration and 200 marks. Clear? So in this paper, they are asking the topics related to current issues of national and international importance, related to social, economic, and industrial development, related to engineering aptitudes, covering all the logic, reasoning, and the analytical ability. They are asking the questions related to engineering mathematics and numerical analysis. They're asking the question related to general principles of designs, drawings, importance of safety, which you have studied in your first year. Standards and quality practices in production, construction, maintenance, and services. Also, they are asking questions related to basics of energy, environment, conservation, environment pollution, degradation, climate change, environmental impact assessment. Also, project management, basics of material science and engineering, basics of ethics and values in engineering profession, information and communication technology, ICT based tools and their application in engineering such as networking, e-governance and technology based education. So all these topics they are asking in the stage 1 paper 1 objective type question. Clear? Means that is common to all the candidates or students irrespective of their branch. So this was your common paper. Next stage 1 is your paper 2. So paper 2 is your technical paper. Clear? So all the whatever your subject is, whatever your branch is there, so related to your branch, the question will be there. And next was your stage 2. So stage 2 was your mains exam, paper 1 and paper 2, both for your technical paper. So that both the papers will be your according to your related to your engineering discipline. So that is the content for syllabus for both the papers together for stage 1 objective, that is paper 2, and separately for stage 2 conventional type paper 1 and paper 2, that the syllabus will be your engineering discipline syllabus. So this was your engineering syllabus in basics of your, I've discussed about the syllabus of engineering services examination. So in this video, I've given the detailed explanation of what is the eligibility criteria of engineering services exam, what is the exam pattern of engineering services exam, and what is the engineering services examination syllabus. Clear? So next video, I'm going to give you the give you the brief introduction or brief explanation about the preparation strategy, how to prepare this engineering services examination. So for today's, thank you for this video.